From Real Madrid's winning Champions League team in 2022 in Paris, Thibaut Courtois, Eder Militao, David Alaba, and now Dani Carvajal all suffered anterior cruciate ligament injuries, otherwise known as ACL injuries. The anterior cruciate ligament stabilizes the knee joint, and it connects the thigh bone to the shin bone. It's most commonly injured in sports where there's sudden stop and change in direction. Many people who suffer an ACL injury say they feel a pop when it happens. Immediately after Dani Carvajal hyperextended his knee, he was in visible pain, and he told his teammates that he felt a pop. Carlo Ancelotti said in the press conference immediately after the game that he had no stability in his knee. Carvajal attempted to walk, but it was clear he wasn't able to put any pressure on his right leg, which led him to being stretchered off the pitch. To be precise, Carvajal ruptured his anterior cruciate ligament, ruptured his external collateral ligament, and ruptured his popliteus tendon in his right leg. These three injuries are not commonly combined in a single incident, unless there's an event with a lot of force and twisting. The ACL, or anterior cruciate ligament, is a tissue that's 32 millimeters long and 7 to 12 millimeters wide. It prevents the shin bone from moving too far forward or backward. ACL injuries can occur when there's a sudden change of direction. The ACL is the most frequently injured tissue in the knee. However, the external collateral ligament that Carvajal injured is a band of tissue that runs along the outside of the knee. It helps stabilize the knee joint. It prevents the knee from buckling outward. Typically, when suffering an LCL injury, you could be facing up to 8 to 12 weeks in recovery time, unless it's so severe that you require reconstruction, and that can take anywhere from 6 to 9 months. The popliteus tendon rupture that Carvajal suffered in his injury is the least common one seen in football. It occurs when there's a twisting motion. When he hyperextended his knee, it's likely that's when the rupture of the popliteus tendon occurred. In Carvajal's case, this was a freak accident where there was a lot of force on his knee in a sudden twisting way. But Jeremy Pinto is an idiot. He shouldn't have gone in for that tackle. It was the 92nd minute and they were down 2-0. I don't understand what he was thinking. But earlier this season, Real Madrid wonderkid center back João Martinez was compared to Sergio Ramos in Real Madrid's tour in the United States. And he also suffered an ACL injury during a training session. But in his case, the meniscus and the lateral ligaments were not affected, so he just suffered an ACL injury. João is only 17 years old, making his road to recovery a lot faster and easier than Dani Carvajal. In the case of David Alaba, the 32-year-old tore his ACL also during the match against Villarreal in the same fixture last season. David Alaba's injury took place in December of last year, and he's not expected to come back until early 2025, according to the latest reports. That would put him out of commission for over 12 months. Unlike his center back partner Eder Militao, who suffered an ACL injury as well in Bilbao last season, but Eder Militao was back in action before the end of the season. But what was clear about Eder Militao is he was missing a lot of his physicality and aggression and speed, but he seems to have regained that now. But the thing is with Eder Militao is he's a lot younger than David Alaba. At the time of Eder Militao's injury, he was only 25 years old. And according to Arsenal legendary manager Arsene Wenger, 25 years old is the sweet spot. So if you're a player, according to Arsene Wenger, that's 25 or younger, your recovery is way easier from an ACL injury. But if you're 25 and above, ACL injuries are very hard to come back from, and you're never the same player. But there are cases like Thibaut Courtois, who suffered an ACL injury at the age of 31 during a Real Madrid training session. But unlike his other teammates, he's a goalkeeper, which means he doesn't need the similar type of explosive movements. The movements that goalkeepers make of diving and jumping don't put as much strain on the knee, and therefore when you do suffer a ACL injury as a goalkeeper, you're much more likely to recover from it quickly, which was the case with Thibaut Courtois. And that's what makes Dani Carvajal's injury so concerning. He's a player in his 30s, he injured 3 parts of his knee, and we all are seeing the evidence of how badly David Alaba's recovery is going so far. There were reports during the Euros that David Alaba was struggling to walk upstairs. Look, here's the deal. The physical toll that it takes on you as a professional footballer today, playing for Real Madrid, playing 60 to 70 matches in a season, can lead to something called cumulative fatigue, which increases the likelihood of injury. Fatigue leads to less stability in the joints like the knee, making an ACL injury much more likely. Having shorter recovery time between games can also lead to imbalance and overuse of your joints, which can also lead to ACL tears. Dani Carvajal had a resurgence last season. He was the best right back in the world, and many people talked about him getting the Ballon d'Or. And we saw in our opening game against Mallorca this season where Jude Bellingham was telling Vinicius and Mbappe to finish the attacks because running back was getting exhausting. And we all see that Fede Valverde is being run into the ground, playing every single minute of every single game. But right now, Thibaut Courtois is suffering from an abductor tear. Vinicius has a cervical spine injury. Ceballos has an ankle injury. Brahim Diaz has a hamstring injury. And David Alaba seems to have had some sort of recurrence of his injury. And according to reports, Rodrigo also had some back pains. The amount of games that these players are playing is dangerous. Let's call it what it is. It's actually at this point where it's dangerous. I'm at a point now where I almost don't care about my team winning as much as I want to see them not get hurt. That's where we're at right now. Greed is a horrible thing. Now, I'm not saying let's go ahead and point the finger and blame UEFA and blame FIFA, because there's a World Club Cup, there's the added games in the Champions League, the Euros just finished, there's international duty in between all of this congestion of games that players are playing for their clubs. So again, I'm not saying I'm blaming UEFA and FIFA for this, but they created the environment and the condition to make this possible. Let me know if you guys agree. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to like it and subscribe to my channel. Thank you for watching. Hala Madrid.